Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I'll admit I was completely shocked by this news. So we all know many cruise lines are shedding some of their older, less efficient cruise ships during the stuff that's going on right now in the world with the no sailing everywhere, governments indecisions, mixed messages everywhere. It's hard for the cruise lines to know what to do, but they have to get rid of their expenses right now until they're allowed to sail and cruising gets back to normal somewhat. They're just draining money. It's just rolling down the sink with nothing coming in. Less and less people are booking because of the extension after extension after extension. So people are just saying, well, okay, I'm going to wait until I know for sure we're going to be able to cruise again. So what am I saying? Well, when Carnival announced that it was going to get rid of 6 ships, that was a little bit, okay, we figured, you're going to get rid of the really older ships because Carnival has newer ships coming in, right? But they meant Carnival as a whole, as a Carnival corporation, amongst their 9 other cruise lines like Princess, Holland American, P&O, Costa, etc. Well, they have started to shed some of the ships, and now it's up to 13, not just 6. But the biggest one, you heard Costa was losing 1 cruise ship. And you heard P&O was going to lose the Oceania cruise ship. And perhaps the Fantasy was leaving Carnival. So you heard 1 ship here, 1 ship there, one. And now Holland America just announced that they are getting rid of the V-Dam, the Rotterdam, the Amsterdam, and the Maasdam. 4 cruise ships in their fleet. That represents almost 30% of their entire fleet. Now they do have 1 new ship scheduled to be released next year. We'll see if that happens. It's a new Pinnacle class ship, but with everything that's going on and things not opening up and shipyards falling behind, can we be positive that that's going to come next year? Because the cruise ships were scheduled for this year aren't coming out till next year in a lot of cases. So is that going to be pushed back to 2022? So yeah, 29% of the fleet, including the Amsterdam, which really was one of their main ships. They did their grand voyages, a lot of their grand sailings, which is their longer voyages. They're 37, they're 177, all part of the Amsterdam's cruises. So for them to get rid of that ship, that's a pretty big ship. And I know a lot of Holland America fans out there who sail with them loyally year after year. This could be just devastating that your favorite ship is just going to be either sold off or even might end up in the scrapyard. It does look like that these 4 have actually been sold to other cruise lines like Fred Olsen. They'll be renamed and sail under their flag, so you can still get on the ship. It just won't be, run by Holland America anymore. And so the experience can be quite different. So why are they doing this? 29% of their fleet. Well, those ships are kind of a specialty. They are known for older cruisers, and they have a much old, it's kind of like Cunard. They have a much older demographic on those cruise ships than say their Carnival class ships or their Princess class ships, designation. So one of the reasons you can see that they're getting rid of those is because when we start sailing again, they don't know if the older generation will be the ones who will want to go cruising again right away. So that cruise line might suffer the most out of all their other cruise lines. Not to mention a lot of their ships are a lot smaller to begin with and a little bit of an older generation, except for their newer class ships that they've built recently. They're putting on a brave face. Holland America's putting on a brave face saying, we have the new ship coming out, the new Pinnacle class next year, which will help us maintain our capacity. And yeah, while you're getting 1 ship back, you're losing 4 ships. You're not going to have the same capacity, and you're not going to be able to cover the same destinations and the same amount of itineraries as well. One ship won't do that. While some of your ships will be covered off by other vessels, and that some cruises are being canceled outright and will never sail again. So yeah, I understand why they're doing it, but it doesn't make it any less heartbreaking that we've come to this point where we are losing ships that people love to sail on and love to vacation on year after year after year. And there's a lot of prospect things going out there. And I really think Carnival Cruise Line, who owns all these cruise lines, I really don't think that they expect to sail anything anytime soon. I think they're thinking 2021 at the earliest, the way things are looking right now. And that is devastating again. That'll be 9 months of no income, not only no income, but refunds on top of that for money that you would have already had. Not to mention you have to pay for your ships, your fuel, your employees, your lights, your electricity, everything else. How long can you possibly sustain this amount? And eventually, right now, these ships were managed to be sold. Eventually, the market to buy ships won't be there. And that's why a few ships have actually had to be sold to the scrapyard for dismantling. And it is just coming to that point where this is kind of a bad sign. This is not a great sign for the cruising industry. Royal Caribbean has come out and said they have no interest right now in selling ships. That's right now. What happens if the CDC order comes out saying that the no sale order is extended till January of next year? Maybe they'll change their tune and you'll start seeing some of the classic Royal Caribbean ships be sold off as well, especially that they have so many new ships coming online over the next 2 or 3 years. Even Disney Cruise Line has 2-3 new ships in the works, and one of them is scheduled to come out very, very shortly. So how long will they go on with their parks not opening, their theaters not open, their movies not running? All the things that make Disney isn't making them any money right now, and they have money in the bank, thank goodness. Otherwise, you might see places like Disney World shut down Epcot Center, for example, or limit the hotel rooms, shut down some of the hotels, and it's just becoming crazy what is happening the longer this goes on. And it unfortunately doesn't seem to have a sign of slowing down anytime soon. The indecisions are still there. Do we open? Do we not open? Do we wear masks? Do we not wear masks? What can open? What can't open? When we do open, if there's a little sign of anything, do we shut it right down again? Will schools open? Will schools not open? Will everything go virtual? You see what I mean by there's so much indecision going on right now that people just don't know. They just don't know. For instance, here in Canada, they're saying that September, there was 2 options. They want to bring all the kids back full-time, back to school, and try and, social distance as much as they can. But, children are in a much less risk group than anyone else. However, another one was the kids would come in for 2 days and then go, be home for 2 days, and other kids would come in for 2 days, and then the teachers would have 1 day to do like online classes and catch up and stuff like that. So you're splitting your week into 2 out of the 5 days that kids would go to school. Well, imagine going to your employer and saying, yeah, by the way, for the next 9 months, every two out of 5 days, I have to be home with my kids because 3 out of the 5 days, I have to be home with my kids because they're not in school anymore, and we can't afford babysitters on what we're making here, 3 days a week. So it's so much up in the air, and it is time, I think, at some point where we either hopefully get that vaccine going or we just decide to open the gates and pay the consequences, because people I now personally know 3 businesses that will never open again here in Ottawa. They have had to close their doors. They have been trying to keep their employees paid, and they have gone completely under and will never open again. They declared bankruptcy. And so I can only imagine how much is going on of this across the world. And cruise lines are no exception. They have the money in the bank, but that money will dry up at some point. And, a lot of companies, once you get that junk rating, like Carnival was just rated the other day, places can't even buy it. Like, companies aren't even allowed to buy it. Stockbrokers aren't allowed to buy it because they're not allowed to invest in junk stocks. Some can, of course, but the big major, like the teachers unions and things like that, they can't invest in a junk bond, which means the cruise lines are going to run out of money at some point if they don't get to start up somewhere and get a chance to get their industry back on track. And that goes for basically everything. How many hotels, how many restaurants, how many coffee shops are just devastated? Factories, you name it, just been devastated by the complete shutdown across America. It's, and there's two sides, right? It was necessary. It was overreaction. I don't want to get into any of that. But the problem is right now, what do we do? Do we continue to lose jobs, or do we take a risk on losing people? It's back and forth, right? I'm not saying, it's a hard decision to make, and I don't envy anybody out there who has to do it. Well, let's see what happens. See if any more cruise lines come out and say, yeah, we're selling 25% of our ships as well. That will make a lot of the environmentalists ecstatic, but it's going to make a lot of cruisers absolutely miserable. Kind of like myself. Well, I hope you appreciate this news update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world whenever we're allowed to travel again? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation, and stay safe.